Hi and welcome. It's Jules Muller, founder and CEO of Chicks Connect. And today I'm going to be teaching you 5 steps to get organized in any space in your home. So I'm going to dive right into the template, and I'll make this template available to all of you as well so that you can look this over, listen to the video recording, and work on any space in your home as well. Okay, organizing accountability. This is a 4-week organizing coaching group that I did quite a few years ago, but I want to share the information in here to all of you complimentary as members of Chicks Connect. So we call this Home Harmony 5-step process to organize any space. In my coaching group, they were able to put before and after photos in their binder, and we would meet once a week and share goals, talk about our challenges, and so that's where this originated from. So when organizing a physical space, we follow the PEACE acronym. P for prepare, E for evaluate and classify, A for taking action, C, contain and display, and E, everything has a home. When you're preparing to organize a space, you want to determine the amount of time you will spend on the organizing project and schedule it onto your calendar. All too often we might say, oh, I want to get organized, but it never gets scheduled, so it never gets completed. This is something to remember. It always looks worse before it gets better because you're pulling everything out, and so it makes a big mess as you're sorting and purging, but then it does get better. You want to write down the names of the people who will use the space. And this is important because we need to make sure that everyone who uses that space is on board with the organizing project and committed to the maintenance of the new system. It's also important to have a big why for this project. So list the reasons for wanting the space to be organized in the first place. How will it feel to work or play in this space once it's organized? There is a bonus template at the end of this report to help you with your big why for each space. Prior to the organizing process, you'll need large labels that read, keep here, keep elsewhere, donate, toss, shred, long-term storage, projects, safe deposit box, important. There might be other categories as well as you are working through your organizing, and it really depends on the space that you're in based on how you want to sort. But these are the general overall topics that you'll want to have papers for, and then sorting tubs and recycle bins and trash cans. Arrange your labels in your organizing space on the tubs or where they make the most sense. Never leave the space until the initial sort is finished or you will get off track. So imagine if you're organizing your garage and you find something that belongs in the kitchen, you go in the kitchen, then all of a sudden you realize you have dishes in the sink, so you start doing the dishes, and while you're doing the dishes you look outside and you see that your dog has torn up something in the yard, so you head outside into the yard, and now 4 or 5 hours has passed and you forgot that you were once in your garage trying to get organized. So don't leave the space until the initial sort is actually complete. The second step is to evaluate and classify the items, and this is for your sort and purge process. Like items go with like items. Start in one area of the room or space and work your way around from top to bottom, left to right. Don't forget anything. If you pass up something, that's a delayed decision. We want you to decide on everything in that space, if it's something that's going to be there or not. Determine a space and chunk it down and stay in that section until completely sorted. So for example, this could be the top of a desk or an entire dresser or all things on the floor. But try to chunk your areas or schedule enough time that you can do the entire room. Do not skip an item. We just talked about that. Make the decision by simply asking yourself, do I love this? And do I use this? Remember that someone else would love to have your item if you do not love it or use it. Revisit your why for working on the project and space if you get stuck or overwhelmed. Go back to that why template and say, oh, it's because I want to make this junk room into a second bedroom or into a guest bedroom, or I want to rent it out for Airbnb and make some money on it. So imagine if your junk is costing you money. And your junk, remember, someone's trash is another person's treasure. So if you have a whole junk room, or as one of my clients called it, a scream room, she would open the door, throw stuff in, scream, and shut the door. You could repurpose that room and then rent it out as an Airbnb and start monetizing that room. That's just one idea. Now you want to take action. You want to determine, remember with all those tub labels, is this item something I love and use? If so, does it fit the definition of how I want to use this space? It'll be placed in the Keep Here tub. If it's something that I love and use, but it belongs somewhere else, I'm not going to deliver it. Remember, you want to stay in one place. I'll put that in the Keep Elsewhere tub. If it's something that you don't love or you don't use and it still has a lot of life left, then put it in the Donate tub. And if it's purely and truly garbage, then toss it. If it's sensitive, you'll want to make sure to shred that item or to somehow destroy if it's important documents, things like that. Long-term storage, these are items that will get boxed up, labeled, and put into a long-term storage tub. Projects that you're currently working on that need to have a due date associated with them, as well as time scheduled on your calendar to finish them. So often when I'm working with clients, they have, oh, well, that's my scrapbook project, or oh, that's my sewing project, or oh, that's my craft project, or that's my, holiday project. Put some due dates on those projects, because oftentimes what I've found with my clients, and true to myself, is that we will carry the guilt and worry that we're not doing those projects because we don't put a due date on them, and they really aren't that important, and we could probably let them go. Now, if they are important and there is a due date, make sure to schedule those on your calendar so they do get completed. Safe deposit box. This is something that you want to put off-site. So safe place for documents or items that are away from your home. And important, one time I was working with a client and we ran across a check for $167,000. Yes, that was a check that they had misplaced a couple of weeks prior, and we found it, and that was the biggest find ever in my 10 years of organizing with clients. But you can find just special jewelry. Maybe you find special projects that need to be done in a timely manner or by a due date, or kids' paperwork, things like that. So have an important tub, especially if it's going to take you multiple days to get your organizing complete, because you don't want to lose that stuff in the shuffle of getting organized. So all the important things put in there. Now comes the time for contain and display. This step is where you can purchase or repurpose items to contain what you want to store in the space. Make sure not to purchase organizing items until you finish steps 1 through 3 so that you actually know what you want to store and how you want your space to function. Oftentimes I have clients that will say, oh, I'm ready to get organized. I go to Home Depot, I buy all these tubs. I go to Office Max, I buy these filing systems. And then it's lunchtime and they never get organized. And all of those organizing products become part of the clutter because they've never been assigned a purpose. And so you want to make sure that you don't even start shopping for things or looking around to repurpose items until you know what you want to keep in the space. So what system or products fit my style and my needs? Are you going to use a binder system with clear plastic sleeves that make it easy to use and view, organizing system for projects and activities? Do you want a file system, which we also had a coaching program for that? Going vertical, use up the space on the wall with shelving and decorative boxes to store things if space is limited. If you love it, use it. Put it somewhere where it will get used. Display it. So if you love it, display it. Photos, certificates, etc. Find a place on the wall or horizontal surface to display the items that you love. Set limits or boundaries as well. And then the final step is everything has a home. So prime real estate, we talk about sitting in your office, or think about the pilot in an airplane. Everything they need is within arm's reach. So if you are cooking on the stove, what do you need when you're cooking? You need the spices, you need the spoons, you need the spatulas, you need the pots and pans, have the oils, things like that. So have everything that you need within arm's reach or not too far away from the area where you're doing that task. So if you do not have a wrapping paper center, perhaps put all the like items, scissors, tape, wrapping paper, tissue paper, everything, extra boxes that you might need into an area so that all of those things are together when you're ready to wrap a present. Same thing's true in your office. All the things that you are trying to get to on a daily basis, put within arm's reach. Productivity and efficiency, create systems and routines. So arriving to work routine, leaving work routine, in a morning routine, a nighttime routine. So creating some habits around these routines will help you be even more productive and more efficient throughout your day. And it will help you from losing things too. Oftentimes we spend a lot of time looking for keys or looking for your special glasses. And I know I have a hard time, I don't have a system yet for my earphones. So if you've been on a call with me, you might recall that I've said, oh, just a minute, I need to go get my earphones. So they are not where they're supposed to be. I should create a system for that, right? Then ask yourself, is this the best use of this space? Look at your space with a new set of eyes and ask yourself this question. What belongs and what doesn't? 5-minute transition time between activities. Ask yourself this question. Put it back. Return items to their home after using them. You determine where the home is. Ask yourself what you need in each area of your home to be even more successful, and make sure the items get returned to their spaces. And then maintenance. Break the space into zones and set a specific amount of time aside for maintaining the space. Your space will not remain organized unless you schedule time or put it on your chore list or your kids' chore list in order to keep up the spaces and make sure everything gets put back where it belongs. So those are the 5 steps. And if we look in a quick review really quickly, I'll scroll back to the beginning here where we talk about organizing a physical space. This can be any space in your home. It can be as small as a junk drawer to as large as the garage, but you want to prepare by following the steps. You want to evaluate and classify the items, take action by sorting and purging. Then you want to get organized within the space and create routines and systems. And then everything has a home. That's not where I tell you to put it. It's where you will go looking for it. So like I shared earlier, I want to show you the bonus why template, which is here at the end. So my big why for organizing my space. So before organizing any space in your home, just take a few minutes and fill out this template so that you can go back to it when you start to get overwhelmed or discouraged, and you'll know why you're doing that. How will my space look when it is organized? How will my space feel when it is organized? How will my space function when it is organized? How will my space benefit me and others? So again, I'm Jules Muller, founder and CEO of Chicks Connect, and thank you so much for participating and watching how to get organized in 5 simple steps. Have a great day.